Hey folks, Dr. Mike here, targeting the muscle series, how to target your back in which your lats exist properly with pull-ups. I'm gonna be using Smith machine to help sort of demo pull-ups because I'm not gonna be demoing actual pull-ups while I talk, but I'll try to do my best to fake it so that they look like actual pull-ups. You guys ready for tip number one? First of all, why are these duct tape handles that look like dildos here? This is my Smith machine. I modded it because I'm big enough now that where I can't actually get under the bar. So I do this, I do this, and I do the squats in the good mornings. Now that we got that out of the way, pull-ups. Here's the deal. First tip is find a grip width that works for you, which means it's hitting the parts of the muscle that you want, and it's friendly on the joints and can allow you to produce lots of strength, lots of force, lots of power. This means that you can go wide grip, no problem. You can go pretty close grip, no problem. If you go close grip, I'd recommend taking your thumbs out, like this, instead of like this. Just easier on the elbows. You can go underhand, also no problem. As long as at the bottom your elbows and shoulders are okay, cool. There are some assisted pull-up setups where you can do regular pull-ups on that have handles that aren't exactly straight like this, that's totally fine. If you have parallel grips, that's totally cool too. Play around with tons of hand positions. There is no such thing as the proper hand position for a pull-up. All the hand positions make it a different exercise. You can do a few of them for hand positions for some number of months, another few hand positions for some other number of months, and always cycle through so that you can do some kind of pull-up all the time in your program. They're always fresh because of the different hand positions. All right, I'm gonna demo this like a fucking little bitch. I'll be stepping on the ground, so these are fake pull-ups. But here's the thing. I actually do this in my actual pull-up videos, so when you see those, you can slow clap. What you wanna do is make sure that you do not rush the eccentric. We never, ever, ever, ever drop into a pull-up. So, hopefully I don't get hurt doing this. If your pull-ups look like this, sweet, you're doing pull-ups. You're getting from point A to point B, but that's not why you're in the gym. You're in the gym to stimulate hypertrophy, which means especially the eccentric lengthening phase needs to be done concertedly, with control, slower, so that you get all that massive stimulus. So your pull-ups should look much more like this. Slow, controlled, deep stretch, up. Slow, controlled, deep stretch, up. That is how you do pull-ups. You will be able to do a tiny fraction of the reps you normally can if you do them slow and controlled, but the stimulus to the lats will be better, and that's why the fuck we're here. This tip is get a full stretch at the bottom, which means two things. One, elbows straight, and two is scaps completely elevated for a deep stretch. Still generating tension, still under control. You can dead hang if you want, you don't have to, but you gotta get it all the way in that position. Why? Because muscles seem to grow best when they're stretched under load. And this is exactly what's happening in the pull-ups. Can you go a little shy of the stretch? Sure. If you want to get fewer gains, but be able to do more pull-ups. So you say, oh, I can do 27 pull-ups, and I go, bullshit, show me. And you do pull-ups that look like this. Cheating with my feet, of course. You get up to here, you go down to here, pretty good, pretty good. You come back up. Yeah, see a lot of people doing these at the gym, except that bottom 10 to 20% of the pull-up they're missing is arguably some of the most hypertrophic 10 to 20%. So forget about 27 reps of pull-ups, do 15 instead. And at the bottom, full stretch. You guys see that? Clearly, pretend my feet aren't there, right? Full stretch, scaps are all the way elevated, elbows are totally straight. You can feel the pain in the lats. Then come up in a full, don't stop here. All the way down, big stretch, hold, and up. That will fuck you right up in the best way possible. Folks, let's talk about pulling height. Here's how it works. If you're on the weaker end for pull-ups, which I sure as fuck am for my body weight, what you wanna do is get a place where you can pull to that's rigorous, that you can tell you're getting there, to make sure you check that box and know when it's a good rep versus when you can't get another good rep or you didn't get another good rep. If you can do 5 to 10 pull-ups to your chin, but no more, that's probably where you should be pulling up to. So what this would look like is, I start, of course, from dead hang and all that stuff, And when I pull up just to the chin and then slow and controlled deep. Pull up, chin and slow and controlled deep. That's totally fine. As you get stronger and you can use loaded pull-ups with extra weight, and eventually if you're using a 25 down there, 35, 45 pounds for sets of 5 to 10, you don't have to pull to the chin anymore or put on weight. You can start pulling higher because you are now stronger and get all these really cool benefits. So can you just stick to putting weight on yourself and going up to the chin? Absolutely, and there's advantages there as well. But something cool to try to simplify your life a little bit, or just another variation to try, even if you are doing the loaded ones to the chin, is to do pull-ups to the clavicles. Now these are a trip. Let me make sure, stab myself with a microphone here. But what you can do is if you're nice and strong, and I've been here before at lighter body weights, I'll be here again probably in a couple months when I start to get my fat loss on. What I'm doing is, it's pretty easy for me to get to here, so I'm not doing that shit anymore. Full stretch, and then I touch my clavicle all the way. So pull up, touch, and pull up. You don't have to hold up there because that's extra hard, but you're touching all the way to the clavicle. That's amazing. If you are of most body weights and you can do 10 to 20 pull-ups, clavicle touching with a full eccentric control and drop, you're gonna have a fucking well-developed back for whatever look you have. The last level of where to touch is if you can do weighted pull-ups, touching your clavicle for sets of more than 5 to 10 reps. You may be on the freaky side of shit, where mostly only gymnasts get to go, or rock climbers, or calisthenics specialists. But if you are in that camp, amazing, try these. And if you're not in that camp and you get to being able to do these, you just unlock super powerful pull-ups because they're an exercise that now is unbelievably high stimulus to fatigue ratio for you. Here it is. If you're strong enough, and this is something Arnold was a big proponent of. Check this out. Pretty weak on pull-ups? Pull up to here like me. Pretty fucking strong? Get up to the clavicle. Touch the clavicle every time. Really fucking strong on pull-ups? Sternum. Slow, big stretch. Chest up, sternum. You don't have to pause, but touch. If you can touch the sternum with pull-ups for sets of 10, I want to see your back. Send me back pics or GTFO. Don't swing like a fucking wild animal, okay? So it's easy to do pull-ups if you swing around a lot. So I'm gonna do my bullshit fake pull-ups here. You know, if you're like, wow, you do all this stuff, you can get some more reps. Problem is it doesn't really grow much muscle. It introduces a ton of other vectored forces around the joint, which could marginally increase the probability of injury. And since it's the targeting the muscle series, targeting the muscle is a matter of really quieting and calming the movement down, making the movement much more pristine and much more focused, rather than making it look like you're doing it in a fucking hurricane. One thing people do get into trouble with on pull-ups and swinging is their legs swing too much. So they'll do this thing where after they've done a pull-up rep, their legs are doing this, and they don't know how to stabilize them. My best advice to you is actually not to let the legs get stable, because you'll be fucking waiting forever. My best advice to you is to get into a cadence, whereby after your last pull-up rep, your legs will swing back and then swing forward. As your legs are gently swinging forward, you're gonna find yourself more under the bar and in a perfect position to do a pull-up. You come down, your legs will swing back, and then do another pull-up. It works super fucking well, right? So I'm not gonna do any pull-ups because I'm not warmed up at all and I'm in active rest right now. But if you've done a pull-up, swing forward, so swing back, swing forward, pull up. Swing back, swing forward, pull up again. There's a natural cadence you can develop there, which still allows you a second at the bottom, and as your legs swing in, you come back into it. If you wanna completely stop and do super straight up and down pull-ups, in my experience, you're gonna be spending like 5 or 8 seconds down there waiting for the legs to stop, and it's just gonna be annoying. Find that natural mini cadence and don't worry about the fact that you're swinging into the pull-up. It's just a tiny little bit, it's just for timing. It's gonna work out super great. All right, folks, last tip. If you get strong enough to do loaded pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, 5, 10, 25, first of all, my recommendation is When you start to exit your target rep range, let's say you're doing sets of 5 to 10 in the pull-up, amazing. Then at some point you can do like sets of 11 or 12 with no weight. Literally get a belt and hang either a 5 or 2.5. And people are gonna be like, what are you doing? That's not real weight. Well, that's how it starts, motherfucker. A 5 or 2.5 this week, another week 2 or 3 later, another 5 or another 2.5. After a while, you're doing the 25, 4 sets of 8, amazing. Once you get into doing loaded pull-ups, here's a great tip. First of all, do them. Second of all, after you've done a few sets of loaded pull-ups, your reps are gonna start to drop off, you get tired. If you go to unloaded pull-ups, right? You'll say you're doing 35 pounds for a set of 9, then a set of 8, then a set of 6. Take the 35 pounds off and do another few sets of unloaded pull-ups, no weight. The mind-muscle connection with all of your back, mostly your lats, is going to be fucking insane. Your ability to control is gonna be crazy. It's gonna feel light, but not light in the way that it's not connecting, light in the way that it's perfectly connecting. Huge tip there is if you're doing your loaded pull-ups, your weighted pull-ups, do a few sets of unloaded after, you get tons of reps. Your technique will be fucking incredible if you're paying attention, and your mind-muscle connection and thus stimulus, and thus targeting the muscle is gonna be awesome. You guys like how I weave that shit all back together? That's not even a fucking script. It's all up here, right? What else kind of crazy shit do I have up there? Probably nothing. So fun, and I've probably peaked in popularity. I'll see you guys next time.